G'day, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. This is Grub and welcome to my channel again, an Aussie in Nissan. So this video today is just a little video about the house that we bought in Yasathon, which is in Nissan, of course. Why we bought up there, and if you stick around at the end of the video, you'll see some important information that you need to know as a foreigner buying property in Thailand from someone who's just been through it. And some points I'll recommend you must do, and some points in my opinion, I don't think we need legal advice to do. Anyway, I wasn't looking at Yasathon when I first moved over here in October, so about 8-9 months ago now. I'd visited Thailand many times since 2007, and I was thinking coastal. Being from Australia, I was thinking coastal. My partner's family are from a village not far out of Isan, about 15 minutes from the house we eventually bought. And I must be honest and say, open and honest, and say that there's no way that my partner Sarah even discussed with me buying property in Nissan, or convinced me or talked to me or anything like that. She fully understood that I wanted to be by the coast and everything. But as you see from a previous video, we visited Isan before December, and we visited Yasathon to come up to meet Sarah's family and have a look around and do a few things like that. Pick up a car was another reason before heading back to Bangkok, and I just fell in love with the place. After driving around for a few days, I started to notice property and signs on property, and for what you could get here in comparison to what you get by the coast, sure, this rural Thailand isn't for everybody, but it's certainly for me. If you like the country, and I love the country, this part of the world is just beautiful. A lot of foreigners want the coast and the beaches and things like that, but the reality is I lived in Perth for too longer than I can care to remember, really. And only numerous times did I ever go to the beach, and that was when I was a lot younger. Beautiful to drive, nice to go and have a look at, gorgeous sunsets being on the west coast, but the reality is I liked the beach. It was an idea that I had in my head, but what I bought here for 2 million baht would be double, if not more, in places like Hua Hin or Rayong or Krabi, other places down by the coast. But anyway, so we looked around Yasathon, we looked at price of properties, we stumbled across this house, which you'll see in the video now. And like I said before, stick around to the end of the video, I've got some really good tips for you. When we first started looking at houses, well, we weren't actually looking, but this is the road. So I just don't trust these dogs. Hey. Anyway, this is the road. Our house was down there. There was a sign just here, these two dogs, advertising this house back here for 1.79 mil. So 1.8 mil. And it's this house here. Hello. Sorry, just 2 minutes, sorry. So this was the house here that we were looking at, but then there's all this area here. So they're going to be building down here and extending them. So I'll show you what this is like. I can't really show you that house there much because there's a gentleman standing on the front there, but that was the house there. That was the very first house we looked at. So we just dashed from that place. The dogs were making the noise. There was a gentleman come out of the house that we actually looked at first. But what I was saying was we were driving down this main road here, just going between town and Sarah's family's farm, which is about 10-15 minutes that way. And we noticed a sign for sale, 1.79 million baht. So that was the house that we just showed you then. But then the real estate agent come over, very small house inside, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, small house inside, small yard. But that land towards the end of it that you just saw, then he told us that they build more and more and more on that. They build 2 at a time. So there was the first house and the house that we looked at, which we did not buy. Then they were going to build another 2 and another 2 and another 2. ends up looking like this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses down here, all next door to each other. And we were looking at the second one, but the one down the road. So we would have had a house here, a house there, very small houses, no yards whatsoever, and they all looked the same. So actually past the 8th house, it looks like there might be something else. There's another house of some sort down there. But I'll show you another one of what I mean by these. So here's some more, just down the road, literally 500 metres towards one of the main roads from where we just were. So these are selling for, it's got 2.XX, so that's over 2 million baht for these. So the first one's been completed, that's now up for sale, and then the second one they're building. And then past the second one, you see some more land. So again, they'll just keep building and building and building and building. And they're not very big. If you have a look at the yards, hang on, I'll just go up and get a bit closer. So 2.XX, so that's over 2 mil for that. That's not furnished or anything, that's just for the house. And that's the front of it there. So as you can see, house right next door, and they're very, very small. I'll go and show you some more. I won't turn the bike off because there's dogs down there, and dogs around here have got rabies, a lot of rabies. So, but you can see there's another whole row of them there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 down there that are all built together, and these are quite common in Thailand. So as we were driving around, there's just this area of Yasathon. We weren't really looking for a house at that stage, but then we started to see the prices, and I started to think about it. Changing the subject, check out this car that's coming past. This is Thailand. Anyway, whilst we were driving around, we come across a house that had a sign on it, obviously for sale, and my partner Sarah decided to give them a ring. Before she phoned them, we actually discussed the price and what we've seen. You know, that little unit, the first one at 1.79, so 1.8 million Thai baht. Those ones up the road at over 2 million Thai baht. So we looked at this house and we thought it's got to be in the vicinity of sort of over 3 million, 3.5 million, maybe even a bit more. We weren't too sure. So Sarah made the call, and while she was making the call, I was lucky enough to have my drone in the car with me. And that's why we got these shots. The front gate was shut and locked, and we didn't want to climb over any tree or anything, but we did get the drone up to have a look around. A few things we liked about it. Number one was the location. Like, we're 5 minutes out of the town of Yasathon. We're about 12, 14 minutes away from Sarah's family. It was a mainish road without being a main road, but we thought that would be good for security. The property, the size of the front yard and the backyard were ideal. Obviously, it needed some work. It had been let go. You can see by the gardens and the weeds. The weeds are as high as the back fence out the back and the front. There was no, straight away I noticed there was no driveway. There was no patios or pergolas or anything like that. But all these things we could add on. So all in all, from what we'd looked at, we thought this wasn't a bad property at all. So we made some inquiries, and the owner told us it was for 2 million baht as is. So, of course, we went home that night and sat on it for a little bit, thought about it, discussed it, came back the next day and had another look around it. And that's when we decided to get in touch with the owner and see if we could come in for a viewing, which was arranged within the next couple of days. So we met the owners a couple of days later and had a look around the property. We liked it. We liked it a fair bit, but it was just, hadn't been lived in for a while, so it was a little bit dirty. So we gave the owners of lists of what we needed done, what we needed cleaned up, and this is the result. So the front yard, backyard was all cleaned up. They had cleaners in. It just hadn't been lived in for quite a while. So it was all cleaned up inside. Like I said, all the front yard, the backyard were cleaned up. The inside was cleaned up. And when it presented like this and we walked into it, we both just fell in love with it. And for the price that we'd seen, 2 million baht, the size of the house, the size of the land, this was exactly what we wanted. Next, we had to get in touch with a lawyer and go through the buying process. So we met with the owners, had a good look around the property. They were pretty much firm on their price, and after the few things that they did for us, clean the place up, etc. And from what I was seeing around the place, some advice I got from local people, the price was fair and reasonable. So then the next thing was, how do I, as a foreigner, buy the property? How do I buy land? Condos a different ballgame. So to be honest, I looked at condos. In my head, I was going to buy a condo because a condo you can own a condo outright as a foreigner, provided 51% of the condo building are in Thai names. They're Thai owned. So that's deemed that the land's owned by Thais, so you can. But the more I looked into it, and I will say, guys, just be very, very careful here. The problem with condos is new condos are getting built daily everywhere. Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Rayong, Hua Hin, you name it, new condos are getting built. So what I see there is, you look at Bangkok, there are so many condos available for sale or for rent, it's unbelievable. So my thought was, especially after living in one, we rented one in Bangkok to start off with, my thought was, if you buy one and residents move or you can't get people in to rent the property, what happens then is the strata, what we call in Australia, the strata company, or the company that looks after the infrastructure, the gardens, the swimming pools, the gyms, the staff, all those sorts of things. If they're normally on a budget that's up here, but only 70% of the units are lived in or rented, well then that money is going to drop down to here. People start selling, etc., etc. There's no money to be put back into the building to look after things. And guys, I've done my research and we're actually seeing some places like this in Bangkok. So the first thing to go is the swimming pool. So they stop maintaining the swimming pool. The swimming pool's all of a sudden closed. You can't swim in it. The moment that happens, you will not sell your condo. So I'm sitting there thinking, condos are getting built daily. New condos are going up all over the place. If I buy a condo now, in 10 years' time, what's that condo going to be worth? Because renters will rent in my building. Say I buy a condo, they'll rent in the building for a couple of years. Then a new building pops up for a very similar price. They'll leave, they'll go in the new building with new facilities, new gym, new pool. They'll be there for a couple of years and then they'll move again, etc. So now, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but I'm just going on my experience is that's what I found could happen. So I decided against condos. So then looking at land, to me, doesn't matter where you are in the real world, rent is just dead money. You're paying off somebody else's mortgage. I didn't want to do that. Can foreigners own land in Thailand? No, we can't. Can we buy property and live on the property? Yes, we can. However, there are a few very, very specific things you need to get sorted. So my partner and I, we've known each other for a few years now. We've been dating for a few years, gone on many, many holidays, moved here in October, met the family, and you get that good vibe, that really good vibe. So I had no problems with trusting my partner, Sarah. She's higher education than me. She's actually got university degrees where I haven't. She's worked all her life. She's not from the bar scene, not that there's anything wrong with that, but just to give you guys an idea of where she's from and where I'm from. So we had the property in mind, we had the price in mind. We went to see lawyers in Bangkok, and there's a few things that we need to do. So the first thing they do is do a due diligence report. So here's mine here, and I'm just going to copy the legal firm's name. Not that there's anything wrong with it. They did a fine job with this, no problems at all. So there's a due diligence report for this property that we purchased. As you can see, it's quite a thick document. It's 31 pages long. It goes through titles on the back. There's photos, there's title deeds. They do all the groundwork to make sure that your property is, number one, it's owned by the people that are selling it. Don't laugh. Foreigners have been done with this before. There's photos, there's everything on there. So they go through everything to make sure that it can legally be sold by the people who are selling it. They also go into the local council and they, AMPER they call them here, and they get all the reports to make sure that the building's legitimate, that the land's legitimate, the fences are legitimate, there's nothing illegal or untoward on the property. And again, guys, just be very, very careful, because foreigners have been caught out with this. So, like I say again, due diligence report, that's my name at the top, the lawyer's name underneath that, and it's 31 pages long. So, because they're a law firm from Bangkok, they actually flew up here, did the report, were up here for a couple of days and flew back. Of course, that cost money, but the money it cost me was nothing compared to the 2 million baht that I was spending on the property. Another thing we got the lawyers to do, the same law firm to do, was to write a contract. Now, I researched everything about these and the contracts and et cetera, and things change, and they change, I won't say daily, but they change a lot here in Thailand. So one thing that was fairly new when we did this was, it used to be 30-year leases. So the property goes in my name, I legally lease it for 30 years. Now that's changed. That's still in place, but also what I've done is I've actually signed a lease with Sarah, my partner, through lawyers and with the Land Register Office, to say that I am a permanent resident in this house, in this property here in Yasathon, until the day I die. So same process you go through for a 30-year lease, but I've signed an agreement with Sarah through the lawyers, through the Land Registration Office, to say that I'm legally here for till the day I die. So if we want to sell this house for whatever the reason is, both Sarah and I have to sign paperwork to sell it. Sarah's Thais get a blue book, which has got all her details, everything about the owner. It's all in Thai, obviously, but they've got the blue book. Foreigners get a yellow book. So this again is from the Land Office and AMPER, legally stating that I am on here as a permanent resident of this property. I can't own the property. Make no mistake about that. I cannot own the property. But this here, plus the legal contract that we've got through the Land Office and through lawyers, is safe. That's as safe as it can get in Thailand. So Thais get the blue book to say that Sarah owns this land and this property. Foreigners get the yellow book to say that I'm a permanent resident on this property until I die or we both decide to sell it. So there's a lot of other things that lawyers will say that you need. They're a business, and look, I've got no doubt that some people want to do the full Monty, and that's fine. I'm just saying, on my experience, this is what I did. So the couple of things I would 100% recommend if you're buying property in Thailand as a foreigner: number one, get your due diligence done by a law firm. 30-odd thousand baht, I think it was, for a Thai company to do it, flying up here, accommodation and everything, plus the report. And number two, it's up to you what you want to do, and there's different names, and to be honest, I forget the names. This was 7 months ago now, but I've signed legally that I'm a permanent resident in this property until the day I die. So like I said, the 30-year lease is still available. There might be other options there that I didn't look into. I'm not sure. I'll say again, I'm not saying my way is the best way for you, and I'm not saying that this is the only way. What I'm saying is this was the best option for me through my legal advice to say that this protects me. So on that note, hopefully this helps people that are looking, foreigners that are looking to buy property in Thailand. The next video, I'll go into the visa situation. I'm not going to go into it in depth because there are so many YouTube videos on on YouTube about foreigners and their visas, etc. Again, I'll just explain my experience, the things I did right and the things I did wrong, because I did do a few things wrong and they cost me a few overseas trips, which means money because I didn't quite get things lined up correct. But we'll go through that in the next video. Stay good.